Marcus Chen stood in the gleaming corridors of the Galactic Defense Academy, his rejection letter crumpled in his trembling fist. Around him, cadets from dozens of species moved with purpose. Towering Korathi warriors with their natural exoskeletons, swift Veltar scouts with their enhanced reflexes, and brilliant Zephyrian tacticians with their enlarged craniums pulsing with bioluminescent thought patterns. Insufficient physical parameters, the letter had stated in cold clinical terms. Recommendation: agricultural colony assignment. The human delegation officer, a stern woman named Director Hayes, approached him with apologetic eyes. "I'm sorry. Marcus, the Academy has strict standards. Humans, we're still proving ourselves out here." Marcus looked around at his fellow humans, all rejected, all deemed inadequate by galactic standards. Earth had only joined the Galactic Federation 15 years ago, and humanity was still considered the weakest species in known space. No natural armor, no enhanced speed, no telepathic abilities, no specialized organs for space adaptation. Just soft, fragile flesh and bones that broke too easily. "There has to be another way," Marcus whispered, watching a Korathi cadet effortlessly lift a training weight that would crush him. Director Hayes sighed. "There is. The Fringe Corps is always recruiting. It's dangerous work. Exploration, salvage, emergency response in uncharted space. Most species won't take those assignments." Marcus straightened. "I'll take it." 3 months later, Marcus found himself aboard the salvage vessel Persistence, a battered human ship crewed entirely by rejects and misfits. Captain Sarah Torres, a former Earth Navy officer who'd lost her leg in humanity's first contact incident, commanded a crew of 12 humans who'd all been deemed unfit for proper galactic service. "Welcome to the Fringe, Chen," Torres said, her mechanical leg whirring as she walked. "Out here, being weak doesn't matter. Being smart does." Their first mission seemed routine: investigate a distress signal from the edge of Korathi space. When they arrived, they found the massive Korathi dreadnought Crimson Claw drifting dark and silent. The ship was 10 times the size of their vessel, designed to house a crew of 5,000 of the galaxy's most feared warriors. "No life signs," reported Jensen, their communications officer. "Whatever happened here happened fast." Torres turned to Marcus. "You're our xenobiology specialist now. What do you think?" Marcus studied the scanner readings, his human brain working differently than the specialized neural patterns of other species. Where a Zephyrian might focus on tactical implications, or a Veltar on immediate threats, Marcus saw patterns, connections that others missed. "Captain, the hull breaches aren't from weapons fire. Look at the edges. They're melted from the inside, out. Something was already aboard." They docked with the dreadnought, and Marcus led the boarding party through corridors littered with the remains of Korathi warriors. Each was 3 times his size, armed with plasma weapons and protected by natural armor that could deflect most small arms fire. Yet something had killed them all. In the ship's data core, Marcus found the answer. The logs showed the Korathi had encountered something in deep space, a crystalline entity that had seemed inert, harmless. They'd brought it aboard for study. It adapted, Marcus breathed, translating the Korathi death languages in the final logs. It learned from every attack, evolved past every defense. The more they threw at it, the stronger it became. "Where is it now?" Torres demanded. Marcus checked. "The environmental systems. It's in the engine core, feeding on the reactor. And Captain, it's not alone anymore. It's been reproducing." The next 6 hours became a nightmare of tactical withdrawal and desperate improvisation. The crystalline entities, now numbering in the hundreds, had indeed adapted to every weapon the Karathi had used. Plasma fire only fed them energy. Kinetic rounds passed harmlessly through their shifted molecular structure. Even the ship's self-destruct had failed when they absorbed the explosive energy. But Marcus noticed something the Karathi warriors, in their direct approach to combat, had missed. The entities adapted to threats, but they didn't predict them. Their evolution was reactive, not proactive. "Captain, we need to get to the ship's water recycling system," Marcus said, his mind racing through possibilities that would never occur to a strength-focused species. "Water? These things eat starship reactors and you want to spray them with water?" "Not spray them. Drown them. They've adapted to energy weapons, kinetic force, even explosive decompression. But they've never encountered a non-threatening liquid environment. They won't adapt to something that doesn't register as an attack." 20 minutes later, Marcus stood in the flooded engine core, watching crystalline entities dissolve in simple H2O like salt in rain. Their adaptive systems, so sophisticated against weapons, couldn't process the concept of death by drowning. It wasn't combat, it was just environment. The Karathi High Command initially refused to believe the report. How could the weakest species in the galaxy succeed where their greatest warriors had failed? But when 3 more dreadnoughts went dark to similar crystalline entities, and human salvage crews eliminated each infestation using Marcus's environmental approach, the galaxy began to take notice. Word spread through the fringe. Humans didn't fight like other species. They didn't rely on natural weapons or enhanced abilities. Instead, they thought sideways, found solutions in unexpected places, turned weaknesses into advantages. Marcus found himself in command of the first human problem-solving corps, a fleet of small, fast ships crewed by the rejects that other species couldn't use. When the Veltar Empire faced a plague that adapted to their medical technology, humans cured it with fermented fruit juice, alcohol, a poison that somehow healed. When Zephyrian colonies were trapped by sentient dark matter, humans freed them using children's toys, simple photons that the entities couldn't comprehend as threats. 5 years after his rejection from the Academy, Marcus stood before the Galactic Council as Admiral Chen, his uniform bearing commendations from a dozen species. The same beings who had once dismissed humanity as weak now spoke his name in reverent whispers. "The humans," the Karathi Supreme Commander admitted, "fight wars we never knew existed. They see battles where we see only environment. They find victory where we find only impossibility." Marcus smiled, remembering his crumpled rejection letter. In the galaxy's definition, humans remained the weakest species, but they had discovered something far more valuable than strength: the power to think beyond the limitations that strength imposed. The galaxy had nightmares now, not of human weapons or armies, but of human solutions. Because when humanity was excluded from conventional warfare, they had learned to win unconventional wars that no one else even realized were being fought. And that, Marcus knew, was the most terrifying strength of all.